So I just finished the Stellar Blade demo, and I think this game has major potential to be something really special in 2024. But this video is not going to be a review of that demo. Let's start by looking at the great controversy that is the design of Stellar Blade's protagonist, Eve. This game's demo gets so much right in terms of combat and level design and creating a narrative and a world where you can have a sexy female protagonist that does not feel out of place at all. For the world that Eve is part of and her origin story, no way is Eve being portrayed as an over-sexualized, objectified toy for male appreciation. This is just such a ridiculous conversation, in my opinion. The problem here really is there's a group of people who think that every character should look like Eve, while others think every character should look like Abby. And the reality is both those characters are needed in video games. Abby was a perfect character for the world and the story being told in The Last of Us 2. Just as Tifa is a perfect character for the world of Final Fantasy. I feel like people on both sides of this debate are just so quick to make a judgment on a character without considering the story and the world that the character comes from.
Got it?
What has come to my mind lately as a result of all of this debate and discussion is a character like Eve is not any more unrealistic than, say, Dante. But handsome men with nice bodies never seem to be an issue. But God forbid there be an attractive, shapely female hero in a game. Isn't that objection alone sending the wrong message to women? Why can't a woman be beautiful and dress sexy and still be a badass? It seems that a good deal of these woke idealists and feminists are trying to define what a woman can do based on her physical appearance. That seems like a step backwards for women's rights to me. On the other hand, you have all these knuckle draggers that instantly label everything that they don't define as normal as pushing a woke agenda. What's even worse is how these people have redefined that word to be something negative. Woke is not necessarily a negative word. In fact, when you look at the definition of it, it's actually a fairly positive one. But that's not how it's being used anymore. And I often see people using the word woke as a shield to hide what is clearly their own bigotry and prejudices. The GTA 6 reveal comes to my mind. Why is it when we see 20 black people in the ghetto in gang colors carrying guns and dealing drugs, we just accept it? But you take those same 20 people, put them on a beach in swimwear, and all of a sudden it's woke. If you see 20 people in the ghetto as normal, and you take those same 20 people and you put them on the beach, and you say that's pushing a wokist agenda, I hate to tell you this, but there's a good chance you're a racist. And maybe you need to ask yourself why you feel and think that way. Furthermore, I want to really stress to both sides of this debate, maybe you should try coming a little closer to the middle. Having your own opinion is your right, and it's fine. But extremism is a real problem. It is important to remember that video games are fantasy. Like books, movies, and TV, they are supposed to provide us as distraction and entertainment and be unrealistic, at least when we're talking about fiction. It amazes me that all the people who object to quote-unquote sexy characters never have anything to say about the explicit violence in video games. It would seem to me like if you're going to be offended by a video game, which is such a ridiculous concept to me anyway, that the subject of violence may be more worth your time as an area of focus. Video games are just another form of art. Let me ask you, should we crop the genitals off every naked male statue? Or cover the breasts of every nude woman painted? By censoring games and pressuring the creators and publishers to change their vision, you are censoring art. It's not any different than book banning, which is ironic to me because my perception of this, so I could be wrong here, is that most of the people who want to edit video games and censor video games and change the narratives and change the visual direction that was established by the creator are the same people who want children to have access to books about sexual identity before they even know what sexuality is. This is hypocrisy. I find it very confusing that this seems to be mainly focused on the female form only. I'll tell you this, nobody is going to confuse Undead Aaron for Jason Momoa. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm not insecure or offended by the masculinity of Jason Momoa. In fact, I find him entertaining. Let's look at a video game example of this. Dante from Devil May Cry. I don't feel the need to be represented in video games. I like playing as Dante. I want my male heroes to be badass, handsome, and muscular if it's appropriate for the game. On the other side of that, if Michael DeSanta had been designed to look like Ryu from Street Fighter, it would have completely diminished the backstory and the narrative of his character. If I'm playing a fantasy or sci-fi game with an established hero or heroine, I want them to look incredible and fantastic. That's part of the fun of it all, and it's not objectifying males or females. I just wonder why nobody seems to talk or care about how men are portrayed in video games and why it's such a big deal how women are. I'm curious to know what your thoughts on all of this are. Please let me know in the comments section below. I'm Undead Aaron. As always, thank you for watching. Have a great day.